Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Piano Whisperer. My name is Ben Klinger, and I am your host. Before we get going, I want to thank Classic Pianos so much for sponsoring these podcasts. Without them, this show would not be possible. So many heartfelt thanks to Classic Pianos. I typically offer a very long and detailed bio, but tonight I'm going to go in a very different direction because we have so much to talk about. Today, we have the incredible privilege to chat with multi-Grammy winning pianist, organist, keyboardist, singer, writer, and producer, Cory Henry. Cory has received Grammy Awards for recordings under his own name, but also for his collaborations with other artists. His versatility as a musician has led him to work with a diverse array of artists, including jazz great Kenny Garrett, Jacob Collier, John Batiste, Bruce Springsteen, Imagine Dragons, Kanye West, Stevie Wonder, and so many more. He has been the subject of documentaries, appeared in the documentary of Little Richard, and has appeared in the film Saturday Night. For more details about the specifics, please visit his website, coryhenry.com. It's a great website. So without further ado, Cory, thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Glad to be a part.
My pleasure. It's a privilege. So normally I start by asking what caused you to start your music journey, but you started it too. And by the time you were 4, you were already performing in church, and you weren't just playing at like an elementary level. I mean, you were like walking bass lines in your left hand on the organ, you were comping chords in your right hand. You're playing with a group of guys at age 4. So how did you get exposed to music so early, and what were your memories from those early days?
My mama played several different instruments and was the lead choir director at the church that we grew up in called Unity Temple in Brooklyn, New York. And she's very well respected and known around the city. And she played several instruments. And yeah, I get it from her. She taught me my first song at the age of 3 years old, which was Amazing Grace.
So do you remember that process of learning it? What were your memories like from those days? Do you have any that you can recall?
Not many.
Yeah, it's early.
I do remember my mama. She made a calypso version of Amazing Grace after she taught me how to play it the traditional way. She came up with this calypso jazzy version, and she was I think she is the real reason why I know jazz chords and wanted to play jazz. It was because of her influence. And I remember learning those chords and just feeling like I was on top of the world.
Wow. And that was so early. I mean, one thing that occurred to me though is like you were expressing yourself musically before you had words to like describe the feelings. So, I mean, I know this is like old like memories and so forth, but how do you think you were approaching music back then? Were you just kind of like, I don't know. I was just curious because you're playing like sophisticated stuff. You're like grooving and dancing and doing all this stuff, and you're like 4, and I'm like, well, how? I mean, that's pretty crazy. Do you remember it, like what you were thinking? You're playing with all these guys. You're looking around. You must have known it was pretty special because there you are, this little kid. You're playing with these totally accomplished musicians.
I don't remember having any particular thoughts besides that this is the most fun. It was just so fun to be playing music, like growing up in church, seeing how music affected people, seeing people run or shout or cry, based on how good the music was or their relationship to, what's going on musically to how that's like touching their life. And once I seen that work that way, I was just kind of like all in. It felt like a superpower, like I was
Yeah,
Superman or something like that.
yeah,
Like I had the ability to make people, and still do. I kind of think this though, but it's like you got the ability to make people show emotions in a way, you
yeah.
know. And I thought about that a lot growing up, and and I was just really stuck on wanting to do it more. I remember going to school and taking out my pencils and playing drums on the table during math class, and I remember the teachers always wanted me to stop. um, I remember just thinking about organ constantly, day in and day out. Um, it was like the top thing more than anything on my mind. It was like organ was the top thing for me. So those are a few things I remember from my early age.
It's cool. So who are your earliest influences? I know your mom, but how did they influence you, especially when you were young, like musically?
Yeah, I grew up in Brooklyn, and there's so many organ players. People like the late great Melvin Crispell, uh, Timothy Wright, my godfather Bishop Jeffrey White, Butch Haywood, name a few, James Hall. All these people were like in New York, just like blazing it at any time. There's probably some more people that I haven't mentioned, but
Yeah, sure.
I used to see these people at concerts every weekend, and and try what they did in those concerts on Sunday morning at my home church, and
Yeah.
try to sound like these people. So those are a
Yeah.
few of the things.
So, and if you're not comfortable answering this one, please let me know. I can edit this out. But I read that you lost your parents very early, like your mom at 7 and your dad at 14, and that's just such a profound like loss at such an early age. And I just wanted to ask, how that affected you as a young guy.
It affects me every day. Affects me to this day. It's a it's a huge deal to go through life without your parents,
Yeah,
and
I'm
and it
so sorry.
changes every decision you make. I'm thankful for the gift of music that kind of keep me together through this whole process, or has been keeping me together through this whole process. But it's not easy. It's not easy to go through life without your parents. And even though I was so young when they transitioned, the loss feels as great today as it did when it first happened. So
So
I miss it every
sorry.
day.
I'm sure you do. You mentioned in one of the videos I saw that you listened to the best of Art Tatum and it changed your life. And so I just wanted to ask how that changed you.
Yeah, Art Tatum. When I first heard Art Tatum, I thought it was two people playing the piano.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and I remember one of my music teachers convinced me that it wasn't two people, and might have showed me a video. I remember I was a kid, I was a teenager, and once I found out it wasn't two people playing, I was like, oh wow, then I mean I can do this, and I felt like I had to challenge myself to really see if I can, get down the way Art was getting down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pushed me to become a better piano player, to just try to play outside the box and the things that I knew how to play. And I used to take 30 to 40 seconds of a piece and try to implement that piece into a hymn or some type of church song. And, it was just nice to discover, piano chops and things that was interesting that made people want to listen to me a little bit more because I was playing kind of like him.
Yeah. Well, I wish you could have met him. That would have been cool. Well, you went on to play with jazz great saxophonist Kenny Garrett. Um, was that a new arena for you? And how did that impact you and your journey?
Yeah, it was a new arena. He had met Kenny Garrett when I was playing my gig at the Underground, the Village Underground in the city. He came down there looking for an organ player because he was switching up to a certain style of music um, that was new to him, that didn't kind of included church.
That's cool.
He was trying to get into a new thing. I thought when he called me that we'd be playing straight ahead a little bit more. But he wanted to get into some funk and soul and gospel a little bit and incorporate that into the jazz how he was playing. And I learned a lot from him. I learned how to, be a professional musician. Really, I mean, I watched him go on stage and um, just dominate the stage from an improv perspective every night. And and it showed me a lot. I kind of got this concept from him about no notes being out of bounds, and that translates to, or rather, that opened me up harmonically and from an improv standpoint to just try different things and be better.
But it's cool that he pretty much he hired you to be you. Like he wanted you to change him a little bit. You know what I mean? I mean that's a big compliment, if you ask me. So from there, you went on to be one of the key members of Snarky Puppy for years, but you also toured and collaborated with a litany of different musicians, ranging from like Bruce Springsteen to Kanye West, Stevie Wonder, Jacob Collier, and so many legends across the spectrum. What have been some of your most surprising musical connections?
I don't know. They have all been so wide, and they have just a wide range. I think they're all special. I can't. It's hard to pick out one versus the other.
But did you
I'm just
like,
blessed to be able to kind of do my thing across all of the different, platforms.
yeah. So you didn't like play with somebody like, I can't believe I'm playing with this guy. I never would have pictured that. You know what I mean? No, that's awesome. Actually, I
Now,
think
because I'm
that's,
trying to play with everybody.
yeah, that's pretty, that's pretty cool.
I'm just blessed and fortunate enough to do it. But I be trying to play with everybody. I think the music that I make is somehow gettable to or glueable to any type of music somehow.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah. And in addition to working on some of your extremely moving solo projects, you're also leading your own band, the Funk Apostles, and you've released a couple of albums, The Art of Love and Operation Funk. Uh, kind of just curious what's next for the Funk Apostles. Okay. Well, more touring and stuff like that, touring and
Yeah,
recording and
we're
stuff.
touring and more albums.
You seem like you're having fun with them, though. It seems like it's a fun
Yeah, when we play,
thing.
it's great. I love playing with my band. It's
Yeah. Well, it seems
and
like it,
the
like it
highest expression
shows.
to have.
Yeah. So one of the ways that you're so unique is that you play multiple instruments, piano, organ, synths. Do you feel like do you feel like you're the same musician on each instrument, or does each instrument feel like a different side of you musically? Just curious what's it like when you get in the zone of each one?
Yeah, no, I feel the same on each instrument. I'm trying to just, I think, showcase my voice
Yeah.
um, on each instrument I play. I'm probably more home based on organ. That's probably like at the top of it. But anything I pick up, I'm just trying to find my voice
Yeah.
and play, um, play from the heart.
Yeah, for sure. So your voice is your voice is what you're saying. It just carries to different platforms basically, right? All right. Well, I want to talk about your solo work, and I want to say like I love Live at the Piano. I love that album. The
Yeah,
Live at the
thank you.
Piano album, man. That if I love that album, and
Thank
and
you.
that really just hooked me so much. And if I had heard that in my 20s, I would have transcribed every note of that. Like it's like such a vast reservoir of gospel blues fusion. And I listened to all of your stuff basically, and it's different from all of your other albums, of course, because of the nature of it. But was there a catalyst that caused you to want to record that album?
I was inspired by Prince at the piano album. I thought it was intriguing to hear him play and sing and make it raw the way he did.
Yeah.
I think the thing that stood out to me the most is hearing those songs without the production or surrounded by them and still feel the impact of them as if they were like highly produced, which lets me know that the songs were good on their own. And I wanted to see if my songs were good. I thought going into the recording that my songs were good because of the production or the drums or the keyboard parts or whatever the case is. And I came out after the recording knowing that if nothing else is playing and just it's just the piano and the vocal, that the song is still hitting.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal to me as a songwriter. A lot of people don't know me as a songwriter. But I was really just kind of saying to myself and saying to the world that I got good songs.
Yeah.
These songs are so good, they don't need no drums or
No,
anybody else. They
yeah,
just,
they're grooving hard, man. Like
yeah.
you're stomping. It was that's a great album. I encourage everyone to go check that out. If you love piano
Thank you.
music, that is a great album. And
Thank
your
you.
singing's beautiful on it too,
Thank you.
So yeah. And we need to talk about your recent Grammy-winning album, Church. You said something somewhere, it might have been in the PBS documentary, I wasn't sure, but you said that you're wanting to be brought back to your childhood in a way that you were longing for a very long time. And that's a very powerful and emotional statement. So I don't know if you'd be willing to elaborate on that. Like, what were you missing and why did you long to return?
Um, I was missing the fun and the joy out of music. I think that the music industry can kind of take away your joy and love and passion for music. I found myself, you know, trying to make music for something else rather than the music, and it should never really be about that. We shouldn't be making music for awards or for money or for whatever else, fame or whatever the case is. I think music should be made because you like music.
Yeah.
And at least the best music is made because you like music. Let's say that. And I want to make the best music I could possibly make. I'm not trying to perform and do something that doesn't fulfill myself,
Yeah. Yeah. You
uh,
want, yeah.
musically, emotionally, or spiritually.
Yeah.
And it's a big deal. So this church record, I think about some of my happiest moments in music, and it happened in church when I was a kid. I tried to play the best things I can play without question or second thought. I just did the best I could, and I wanted to get back to that and be happy about playing music and having fun playing music and making music from a fun state, not from a business state. So
Yeah. Well, that kind of dovetails to the next question was this Twitter quote I found, and I don't even know if it's true or not. I read it, but that in like September of 2022, it seemed like you were really wrestling with that because you said you were going to retire for the music business soon because you just wanted to have fun playing. Is that kind of connected to that whole time
yeah,
of,
I
yeah,
can't believe that's 2022. I probably said that before that. But yeah,
yeah,
I've been wanting to retire. I'm coming close to retirement. I've already retired from tour, and
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
It's great.
Well, I'm glad you're still producing music and the church album. I love the community feel of it, like all the powerful singing. It really did bring you in, and it really caused you to feel like you're in the middle of the congregation and that people were worshiping. And so I don't know if that was part of your mission, but that's what I experienced as a listener. And how did you decide to approach the project? You had so many different personalities on there, and it was a what was your creative process there?
I've had a lot of conversations with people about gospel music, and I think we shared the same sentiment about how gospel music has taken a turn from what we all used to like about it, especially like 80s and 90s gospel music,
Yeah.
70s, 80s, and 90s gospel music. And it's just interesting that it's taken a turn because, in my opinion, it feels like people was taking a turn because they was, trying to get away from the roots of the industry. I mean, the roots of the music. And I just found it interesting because, like, when I go to jazz clubs or jazz jam sessions, nine times out of ten, you walk into a jazz jam session, the band is playing music from 1940s or 50s or 60s or something like that. Take the A Train or something, and they be jamming on that right now. In 2025, I've seen it several times.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, why gospel artists try to act like our older music is not good enough. I just really believe that it's still some of the richest music that we have, and it was important for me to tell people about it, like to tell people that it was hot, that it's
Yeah.
still great. It's something that is like to me like historic and soulful and moving when you play that type of music. And then I wanted to make something that commemorated the let's say like the best Sunday morning service I've ever I've ever been at, you know, and I've been at millions of them. So I was like, man, what was the best some of the best moments? And I think about, you know, all the times I've been in church and playing songs with my grandmama or, you know, playing, you know, songs of prayer or songs of praise. And I wanted to take all that and just put them together. And I never forget when I got to about song seven, I thought I was going to be done. Then I got to song 12, I thought I was going to be done. And then next thing I know, it's at, you know, 24 songs in. I was like, man, this is the whole expression. This is the whole experience. An experience. The record is not really a record from a traditional standpoint of like, oh, here's a single and here's, you know, the next leading single. You know, when people ask me that, I was like, I don't know what the single is, but the record flows together. And I know people don't listen to music in this way anymore because of our attention spans are pretty short. But for me, it was about just, you know, taking something that I grew up on and want to commemorate the experience on record in the best way I knew how, and I try to do that.
Yeah. Of all the projects to date, does this one strike you as the most important to you, or
Yeah, it's the best piece of music I've ever put out so far.
that's cool? Okay. And is there anything you'd like to discuss that we haven't talked about or that I haven't brought up?
I started a church in Inglewood, California.
You did.
We won the Grammy for the church project, and then we started the church experience. We have it once a month at the Miracle Theater in Inglewood, California, and it's been a blessing to me and everybody, to my experience, to my knowledge, that have been there. You know, all walks of life, all different cultures, people from different religious beliefs and lifestyle practices. They all come to this experience and feel God. I have soul food 2 hours before the event. People come and fellowship and eat together. We have an after party experience happening where we uh, highlight an upcoming band or artist or DJ for the after party. We're building community here. We're going to be building it also in New York very shortly. And I started a choir. We got 30 voices debuting this Sunday with the Apostle Community Choir. And it's one of the best things I've done. So, you know, you and anybody else who hears this, invite you out to come be with us on normally the fourth Sunday or the fifth Sunday of each month as we build the church experience in Inglewood.
That sounds that sounds deeply meaningful. I can tell when you're talking about it too. You're like, this is what I'm talking about, right?
This is it. This is it. It's the reason I retired from tour.
All right. Well, I may have just answered the next question, which is there anything you've always wanted to be asked about, but until now the opportunity never presented itself?
No, I don't know. Hmm.
All right. So what's next for you? What's next for Cory Henry? Just more of the development of the church, or I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what's next for you? What's most important?
Yeah, it's developing this church in multiple cities. I started a trio with Eric Krasno and Sput. We got a gig or two coming up. We have a few shows coming up, but I started a new album. I'm trying to release a new album next month. Actually, an album I recorded last year. You know, a soul R&B project.
Cool.
Working on my next gospel project to be released probably at the top of next year. Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah, that's a lot. And is there any advice you'd like to offer any up and coming musicians, that are just starting this journey that may not have had some of these intense experiences that you've had?
Oh, just I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Just to like follow the passion and do music because you love it. I think that's a big deal, an underrated deal. And not to do music for almost any other reason. Especially now we're at a time when music don't make money anyway. It barely makes you money, I should say. So to not look for the money in it, but look for the passion in it, and hopefully the money will follow. But do music because you love it.
And how can people find out more about you apart from your website? You have a social media presence,
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Cory Henry, Cory Henry. I think I'm on X, Twitter, same thing. Threads, the same thing. TikTok, the same thing. I think I'm the chief apostle, actually, the chief apostle on TikTok.
the Chief Apostle.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm on all the things and looking to connect with everybody.
All right. Is there anything else at all that you want to cover, that you want to mention? I saw that you're touring around Europe with some symphonies. Is that upcoming in the fall?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a
That's
little piano. I got a piano running in the fall as well.
Your symphony work is pretty cool. I have to say, I saw you was at the North Sea Jazz Festival or something like that. You did something with the Rotterdam Symphony, that actually Purple Rain tribute, right? And
Yeah.
that's a pretty cool combo. Do you do those arrangements yourself, or how does that work?
Normally I do the arrangements. Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a lot of work, Cory. Well, it's fun. And I encourage everybody to check out the videos. If you Google, like, videos on YouTube, Cory Henry, you'll see some amazing performances going back, in fact, to the time that he's 4 years old. And there's some great stuff. And I encourage everybody to check out him on the different streaming platforms of your choosing. He has a lot of material there to listen to. Again, live at the piano, that was one that hooked me because I'm a piano guy. But also his Hammond organs playing, man, he sings, he just rocks it. And so if you want to check him out, I encourage you to do that. And so, Cory, thank you again so much for your willingness to chat with me today. I think you're a wonderful musician, and my wife, when she was watching some of the videos with me, she said, he has communion at a higher level. Like, when she was watching you engage with the music, that's what she said. She also said he has such kind eyes. So there you go. I I I I, I, I
So
think you're
thank you.
Yeah, of course, and I think
Thank
it's
you.
true. I think it's true. So, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and listeners too. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Classic Pianos, thank you for sponsoring this episode. Thank you for sponsoring this podcast. Nothing would be possible here without you. And also, folks, if you like these podcasts, and I would be really sincerely grateful if you would take the time to rate and review Piano Whisperer. So that's it for now, and we will see you all again next time. Take care.
Thank you.